Knowing ourselves is easy to say, but difficult to do because it's like you push one and the other pops up and then it's all interrelated. So how do we characterize our being and how we balance out so that we are centered, grounded, and that energy flows smoothly without blockage and not biased, yet being able to face with different situations, sometimes emotional situations, sometimes brain-related heavy-duty situation, sometimes related body being weak and you lose the energy. How do you recover from that? Our life situation goes around in every which direction, and the person who are stable, enlightened, awakened, seem to have a good balance to be able to see where he is, like having a chart, so that if the emotion is going too much, you come back to the calm and quiet mind. If your knowledge is too much and too much of a heavy-duty logic process, then you rest so that the energy is coming out okay and be able to address it. Sometimes perhaps take a break. And when your body is weak, maybe tired or whatever reason, then you need to relate to that so that you don't overuse your brain or heart, but have a rest. But if you have too much energy, that may cause more trouble too. So each of the area that I want to talk about is related to intellect, emotion, and will. Intellect more related to the brain, word and logic, left brain kind of thing. Emotion is related to heart, the feeling, more like a right brain. Maybe that's a traditional way of characterizing. But the will is more from the center, the root of who you are, where the energy comes out, life energy. There may be desire, willingness, all of that. So balancing out to know where we are, if we have some kind of a gauge to know where we are, which area is weak or there's certain blockage or weaknesses, then we know how to deal with it. But usually we don't have such a mirror to look at ourselves. So that's the reason the meditation and have a calm and quiet mind as a basis would help. Also, in a daily situation, when the mind moves into tired, or emotions go up or down, or body energy levels going down or too much high, we want to pick up the moment before it consumes us or we go out of the bound. It's like a process control. So we have to have some measurement, like a biofeedback, and that's what I say when I talk about the waku-waku, aliveness. That is usually the sense I look at. That if I'm tired, the aliveness is low. If my mind is too much and consumed, again, my aliveness, or I call waku-waku, the sense of water bubbling out of the fountain, is low. If you are angry or disappointed, then that would also affect the aliveness. So to me, I think waku-waku, aliveness, is like a gyroscope that I look at. And then if I can figure out which element is causing the trouble, then we can address the situation accordingly. So in the previous videos, I've been looking at starting from calm and quiet mind and so on and so forth. And I came to the point of Zen is more like an intellect-oriented or wisdom-oriented. And the Shin Buddhism is more emotion, feeling-oriented, compassion-oriented. And the will is more related to like a root of who we are, that if we are connected and if there's no blockage in our system, the energy flows smoothly, and therefore we can balance out with the energy flowing in appropriate fashion. So that's the ideal situation. And this is just an attempt to share about the balance and how each component may need to be looked at. So the chart indicates those three elements: intellect, emotion, and will, brain, heart, life energy. To the left, it's more like a left brain. To the right, it's more like a right brain. And Gilbert Taylor had mentioned that when she had the stroke, the left brain is not functioning. So she felt the nirvana, and the emotion and the will is functioning more like a state of animals, if I may say so. Very intuitive. And not to say that's the ideal situation, because we have those faculty of the intellect, emotion, and will to be balanced. So living in a society requires lots of energy. When you work, you have to use your brain. Well, some of the work you may not need to. Some people more of emotion and less brain, but more intuition, like a painters or architect. I'm not sure if that's the case, but there are certain fields. Even the mathematicians may have some perspective in the feeling. So it's a complex situation, like I said earlier. But the idea is to use the brain, feel with the heart, and bring out the life energy in an appropriate fashion. And we want to listen, figure out whether it's waku-waku, life energy, as a gyroscope or monitor, or there may be other situations like a breathing, if it's natural or not. Because if you are equipped with the sense of anapana, I call it, the meditation by breathing, looking at the breathing, you would notice when certain situation pops up, the breathing changes. As much as when I talked about the Shin Buddhism, and the Sai Chi was one of the examples, I mentioned about those people may breathe in, breathe out, and when they breathe in, it is as if to have the energy coming up and also the Amida Buddha, the God or law of nature to fill up. And then when you breathe out, the delusion and all the unnecessary goes out. So in and out, and steady, natural breathing process may indicate, again, biofeedback. And if we have that established sense from the meditation or continuous process, because like any mastery, we have to repeat until we accomplish some skill. But if you can achieve that, especially with awakening, then you may have much immediate sense of aliveness, even transparency, cells vibrating, not all the time perhaps, but those are the indication of whether or not we are in line to the law of the universe and in a natural state, so that you can respond to the problem, opportunities more appropriately, whether it's the work, hobby, relationship, financial issue, or health issue, so that you are better balanced to deal with the situation. And again, you have to have a good energy source, life energy flowing. But as I was talking about, as people get old, in my case 74, the life energy is shrinking gradually. So you have to be wiser and more controlling your emotion, balanced out, and the blockage to be not blockage to be taken out of the system where possible, so that you can have a peaceful mind, clear mind, calm and quiet mind, to see the situation and deal with the problem when it arrives. So this is pretty much a conceptual idea that I'm sharing, but the execution in a specific situation we need to look into. Thank you.